Coming up, the Mantis Q40 gets text-to-speech, and listener Nicole reviews the mini guide.
You're listening to Double Tap, your daily accessible technology show. Now, here's your hosts, Stephen Scott and Shaun Preece.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Double Tap. Shaun Preece, how are you today, sir?
I am great, thank you, Stephen Scott. Did you enjoy your birthday yesterday?
I did. I enjoyed one slice of cake, possibly two, and maybe something through the night, but let's not go there. I had a wonderful time. It's nice to be back with you today, though, because we are celebrating breaking news.
Breaking news, always exciting. I'm trying to remember what it is. What is it?
I'm going to give you a clue. In my hand, or hands, actually, hands, is my Mantis Q40 Braille display.
Oh, of course, it's that day, isn't it?
It's today. Now, you might remember we had Andrew Flatres on the show with us from Humanware, and he was telling us about this new update that is coming out, or something coming out from the week beginning the 7th, that is this week, of course, of December. Today is the day that the update is being officially released, and it's actually being released, if you're listening to this live on AMI Audio, right now. Like, they've pushed the button right now. So it's available from this point forwards. I believe, as Shania Twain once said, from this moment on.
Oh, that's going back to your DJ roots. I have no idea.
You don't know Shania Twain?
I know that don't impress me much. Of course, the only song she ever did, as far as I'm concerned.
Now, you see, if you'd have been clever, you'd have said at the end of this review, you'd have said, that don't impress me much. And we could have tied it back to Shania Twain. And that would have been... You see, if we planned this show, it would be really good.
I've made a terrible faux pas. Anyway, going back to the breaking news, the text-to-speech feature, of course, is what we're talking about.
Absolutely. It's a great new feature. It is being released today. Now, you might not have it immediately. It is going to be rolling out. So, keep checking your updates. There will be an update on the Humanware website. You can go and download the update file from Humanware, or you can get it directly on your device via software update. But, I know we like to kind of muck around and talk about, cheese and various other things at the beginning of the show. I think today we should just dive. Yeah, exactly. That's right. But today I thought we'd dive right into this review, because I'd like to show you how this actually works. I know you're keen to know how it actually works and what it might sound like. So shall we dive right in?
Let's do it.
So the Mantis Q40 is on the desk in front of me here, Shaun, where it generally lives. I've also got, just behind that, my Lenovo laptop. I'll explain why a little bit later. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see my Rodecaster Pro 2 mixer console is here as well. And I've got my MX Keys, my trusty MX Keys keyboard. Not the mechanical, just the regular. My favourite keyboard of all time. I'll maybe do a desk walkthrough another time, but today we'll focus on this, the Mantis Q40, the text-to-speech update that has just been released today. And this feature allows essentially spoken menus from the device. Also, if you're writing documents, you're reading basically anything from the display or anything from the internal content of the device, it will be spoken aloud. But to do that, you have to connect up a little speaker or earbuds, whatever you want, really, as long as they're Bluetooth, because there is no 3.5mm headphone jack in this. The only way they could get audio out of it was via Bluetooth. So I have got here a little JBL Go 3 speaker. It's very small. It's like 3 packs of playing cards stacked on top of each other. And if I was holding that all together, that's the kind of size we're talking about. It's very small. It is fairly light, although chunky, which I like. And nice and tactile as well, with nice tactile buttons at the top for, volume down, for pause. There's a pause button in the middle, and there's a plus button for volume up as well. There's buttons on the side for power and to connect to Bluetooth, and then you've got on the other side a little handle, it's a strange little rope handle. And then I guess you can hang that up if you were, say, in a shower, because it is waterproof. You can hang that up in the shower if you choose to sing in the shower. And then a USB-C connection for charging as well. So that little speaker, which comes in red, by the way, not the double tap red, but, close enough. This little speaker is what I'm dropping, and that is what we're going to be using to connect to the Mantis Q40. So what I'm going to do first is go into the settings menu. Now, this is a bit boring because there's no audio yet. I don't have any audio yet, but what I am going to do is set it up so that we can pair this device. So let's do this. So right now in the main menu, we would hear this if we had this speaker connected. We actually hear this talking. So I'm going to hit S for settings first off. I'm on editor, so I'm going to start there. Hit S for settings, and then B for Bluetooth. And that will take me into the Bluetooth menu. The first thing it does is tell me Bluetooth is on. And then I'm going to arrow down once, and there's a new option once you've got the software update installed, and it says pair audio device. Okay, so nice and simple. So now what we're going to do, before I hit enter on that, I'm going to set up my speaker to be ready. So let's do this. Let's just turn it on at the side. Hopefully you can hear this okay. And you hear that noise of it coming on. There it is. And there's a second button, which I'm going to press once. And you hear the dun, 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 dun. So that I'm going to place on the desk just for a minute. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit enter on pair audio device. And what it's going to do is it's going to look for it. It's saying loading. And it's having a look around to see what's available. And hopefully I should see, oh, hang on, here we go. What have we got? We've got JBL Go 3. I was right. I was actually, I guessed that it was a JBL Go 3, but it is called that. So I'm going to hit enter. And it is loading. Hang on. And hopefully, if I just hold this up a little bit so the microphone can hear us.
Connect device.
There we go.
Disconnect device. So
we can hear it now talking. I'm going to turn the volume up a bit so you can hear it.
Delete paired device. Disconnect device.
And now you're hearing what is coming out of the Mantis Q40. So let me put this little speaker here so you can hear it. I'm going to bring the microphone down a little bit so you can hear it okay. So let's just arrow around. So I'm going to arrow up.
Connect device.
Connect device.
Pair audio device.
Pair audio device.
Bluetooth on.
Bluetooth on.
Back.
And there's a back button. So I'm now able to get around the system without any Braille. If I'm struggling with Braille, if I'm not reading it very quickly, if I'm feeling that I'm not entirely sure of what I'm reading, or is that what I think it is, then you're getting that audible confirmation, which is great. So let's go back.
Bluetooth.
Okay, so we hear Bluetooth.
Main menu applications. Change language. Activate exam mode. Software update. About.
And you've got software update in there as well, which is good.
Close. User settings. Language profile. Speech settings.
So we've got this new setting called speech settings. Now, if I go into this,
speech on.
We'll hear that speech is turned on. Now, you can just simply turn the speech off by removing the earbud or turning off the speaker. So this is not something that is going to be necessarily activated the whole time. It's only going to be working when you have the speaker connected. So it's an optional extra, really. So if I turn off the speaker right now, if I just hit the button at the side, and off it goes, obviously now I can navigate around the Mantis and I can feel, yep, we're moving around and that's fine. Now if I press the, and again, you're not hearing anything, right? Because there's nothing connected. If I press the speaker on again, and then put it back down, and then what will happen is it will reconnect back to the Mantis. And once again,
speech on.
We can hear speech on. So I can arrow down from here.
Speak menu on.
Speak menu. Now that gives you the option if you don't want the menu spoken, if you're quite comfortable with the menu and you feel that's something you don't need, you've got that customization. You don't have to have that spoken. It could just be for content that you're going into, maybe notes, or if you're downloading a book.
Speak word under cursor off.
Speak word under cursor.
Speak display content after panning off.
Speak display content after panning, so it will automatically speak for you.
Echo delete on.
Echo delete.
Keyboard echo.
Keyboard echo. Now it's chosen words. I think by default it was set to words. That's what I prefer anyway.
Download language and voices. And
this allows you to go in. Now, I'm not going to do this here because we'd be here all day, and you have to download each individual voice first before you can hear it. You don't get the option to hear a sample. But what it does allow you to do is go in and choose a new voice. Now, what HumanWare have told us is if you go to the Vocalizer website, you can get samples of each of these voices. You can play them online. And then if you find a voice you're happy with, and that's the one I chose, I can't remember what it is, but whatever one it was I chose, I went off and I downloaded it. And let's see, actually, if I go into download.
Change menu voice.
Will, that's who I chose. So it's
change additional voice. Rona.
A little bit like the Victor Reader, where you can have a voice for content and a voice for menus. So you can choose which one you want. So if I go back to
change menu voice.
Change menu voice. That means I can have a different voice reading the menu, and then
change additional voice. Rona.
an additional voice, Rona, there's a Scottish voice, I can use that for my content. So that's pretty much it. There's not much more to it than that, but really, I think it's great. It's a great additional function for people who maybe struggle, who are wanting to learn Braille, especially those of us who are a little bit slower, and especially when it comes to, if I'm honest, things like contractions. When you're reading contractions on the Braille display, or even symbols. Like the other day, a percentage came up and I was like, oh, that's what percent is. Now, I didn't know what percent was in Braille. So, hearing it through speech and then being able to go to the display and feel that sign and go, right, okay, that's what percent is, was really, really useful. Now, one other thing I want to show you is what the experience is like going from the Bluetooth audio to your computer if you're connecting to the computer as a display. So very simple. You would just go to Terminal.
Editor.
So back to Editor. So I've just hit the home button there on the Mantis. I'm hitting T for Terminal.
Terminal. I'm
going to go in there.
USB connection.
Now, first up it says USB connection. It's not USB connected. It's actually connected via Bluetooth, my laptop.
Scott Laptop.
Scott Laptop. Guess what? That's it. So I'm going to hit Enter on Scott Laptop. And what you'll notice is if I hit Windows key, my PC is now talking, but I'm not getting any more speech from this little device. Now, if I hit Home,
USB connection.
Immediately the sound is transferred back over here to the speaker, and I can choose
Scott Laptop.
Another device.
iPhone 16.
I think it works really well. So go try it out. Let us know what you think.
Wow. I'll tell you what I think, Stephen Scott. I'm actually impressed. That voice sounded very nice for one thing, and that switching between the connected computer and then back again, that was quick.
Well, it was so quick. I mean, you might think I edited that. I didn't. I'm not editing anything here. This is all, live.
Yeah.
So I'm showing you exactly how it behaves. And actually, it kind of surprised me as well, especially at this early stage. You get a new update like this, you expect a few issues along the way. You expect something, okay, that'll be improved over time. But that's actually pretty impressive, as a first release.
So tell me about the responsiveness as you're actually arrowing down, let's say, through the menu, for example. Are you noticing a lag?
Not really, no. I'm not noticing much at all. Nothing notable. Look, put it this way. If you're using certain headphones with an iPhone, for example, Bluetooth headphones or Bluetooth earbuds, you will sometimes hear that. Maybe not with the AirPods, but with third parties, you will sometimes hear that lag. It's obvious. I didn't feel it much at all with this. And, I don't know how much you could hear of me pressing the button and getting the response, but it felt quick to me.
Yeah.
As I was pressing that button, and I don't know if you do this, but when you're arrowing through a menu, especially when you're doing a demo, you'll always press the button sometimes just before you finish speaking. And,
yes,
because you're kind of rushing through it yourself. And then when you press the button, you realize, actually, I've kind of moved on now and it has spoken already. You're expecting a delay.
Yes.
But there wasn't one. So, no, I think that's great. And I like the different voices. Will is great. And I think that these are voices that are going to come to more devices if they're not already available. But vocalizer voices are available now with the Victor Reader, which is great. So yeah, I mean, I was really impressed by it. Just being able to connect it that way, it is really, really useful. And if you are struggling, like I say, if you're struggling with the Braille, you just want to speed things up a little bit. I think you could get a lot more out of the Mantis today with that kind of functionality.
Absolutely.
Especially reading documents and stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, of course. And just double checking. That's what I need. I can never get the reading Braille down at all. I really struggle with that. And just being able to double check with a voice telling me what it actually is I'm feeling, that would be fantastic. Yeah, that was very nice. What about the update? Nice and easy, quick?
So simple. So I actually downloaded it from the Humanware website. And I put it onto an SD card. What you do is you put it onto the root. So basically the initial folder you go into of the, not in a folder really, just straight go into the SD card, plump it straight. That's a technical word, plump.
Yes.
Straight in there. And once you take that SD card and put it into the Mantis, it will immediately notice it and it will say install update and give you the option to install that update. You can, of course, get it through the software update. You heard me going into the menus and you heard software update. You can do that as well. You can just go in through software update. And once it's available, it will appear there as well. On some occasions, when you connect it, if it's already connected to Wi-Fi, if you've got it connected up that way at home, as soon as it's available, it will often push a notification to your device as well. So on the display, it will read download. I'll ask you, download update, and you can go off and it will download it. In some cases, it'll, if you've got it set to auto download, it will do that automatically, but it will ask you once it's done that if you want to install it. So yeah, you're not going to miss this one. That is for sure. But it is going to give you those extra menus, which is kind of cool. And there's some other functions and features in there as well, which we'll talk about in the fullness of time. But I thought it's really worth mentioning that big feature today, because I think it's really good. It works really well. And it's going to make that device even more usable than it already was.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a nice update. And I really like how easy it is to do as well. That's very good.
Absolutely. Okay, shall we get into some of these?
Email. We get email. We get your email every day.
Ding dong.
Here's your mail today.
Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding.
Email.
I missed that.
I know,
It's
but
like ages.
It feels like it's the right time of year to play an email jingle, doesn't it? It's that kind of
Yes.
it's that time of year. I will say we've had a lot of emails about the email jingle, and there are people out there working right now, not by commission.
The Christmas elves.
The Christmas elves, the double tappers out there who are creating new email jingles. I was sent a package of contents the other day, which contained all these amazing sounds. So we are going to be getting them on in the new year. I actually think we should do a little bit of get people what they think. Just a bit of a poll on this. What do you prefer?
We will parade out the new email jingles and let you decide.
Yeah. Unless there's only one, of course.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of being decided by itself, to be perfectly honest, by the people who are creating it. But I love it. I just love it.
Keep them coming. Thank you.
Yeah, if you've got ideas, then let's hear them. I think that is it. Suno app, is that the one everyone's using?
Yes.
That's the one Brian uses, isn't
I
it?
still haven't used it yet. I must get into that.
I'm not smart enough to use it.
I know,
have a clue. It's
me
like trying
either.
to come up with lyrics.
Ugh.
Leave that to smart people. But listen, let's move on, because I do want to get to some emails. Glendon wants to talk to us about social media pity.
A couple of days ago, I went on a walk with my neighbour on a historical trail in our city and got a selfie of us in a nice park setting. It must have taken me half an hour before I was able to share the picture from my messages app to Facebook. Those pesky tech issues. I went on Facebook just now and noticed that I got a lot of likes and loves on the post, as well as 3 care reactions. I'm wondering if anyone else out there, like me, has wondered when it is appropriate or not to use the care rejection or juggled between the care and the crying face emoji reaction in some situations. Actually, I think there should also be a simple sad reaction option here. Anyway, getting back to my post's care reaction, I still don't know what the actual intention was. But here is my take. If my cane was visible in the photo, or if the person who posted the reaction knows that I'm blind, then maybe they are impressed or happy that I have gotten out of the house, or maybe they're just happy that I have friends that will go out with me. Lol. Doesn't logic suggest that this means they don't like it and that they only care? Am I being mental here? Over-analytical? Oversensitive? Or could this be one of those pity reactions that we have talked about over the years? I'm guessing that if Freud had anything to do with this, he would probably suggest that the problem is all mine and nobody else's. I just thought I'd put it out there for you guys and gals to hear your feedback, which I always value. That's it for now, and all the best from Glendon.
Thank you, Glendon. That's an interesting one, right? Is it pity, or is it... I'll be honest, I don't really understand all these reactions that come up with Facebook.
It's so difficult. It's so funny, though. I saw a message the other day from a friend of mine, and it was... I'll just say it was sort of bad news. What do I react to with that? Now, I tend to not react whatsoever. My only reaction is like thumbs up or like.
Yeah.
But for something like that, it feels wrong to put like. I like this. I love this. That's wrong, isn't it? Because it's bad news. So, I mean, if it's something like that, then you reach out and you send them a text message, right? That's the way I look at it. I honestly, when it comes to reactions, I kind of don't even think about them.
Yeah, because you never know if, like the love one, for example, is that sending love? Is that saying you love? Is that, there seems to be like a whole etiquette here. That, if we had a Gen Z person working with us, I believe that's the youth of today, so I'm told by people who are, younger than me, that, ultimately they would know the answer to this. It's not a world I really understand. I'm with you. It's like smiley face with sunglasses, like and occasional love. But that's it.
It's just open to misinterpretation, isn't it? And that's the trouble with all of these. And like, I don't want to offend anyone or upset anyone, so it's easier just to type a quick message, or in most cases, just move on.
I don't really care about offending people. I'm more interested in, because if someone said to me, "Look, I was offended by that emoji you sent me," the follow up would be, grow up.
Well, yeah, I know what you're saying, but at the same time, there's so many, like, okay, this emoji, I think I know what it is, but has it got some sort of secondary meaning that I'm unaware of?
Well, that's a different thing. Yeah, that's more my concern, is the secondary meaning of what it might be.
Cultural meaning.
There are some that have got, let's just say, specific meanings beyond their original meaning.
Which ones are those? I don't know, Stephen.
No, I have no idea, but that's why I don't use them, because they could. Any
Which
of them could be.
Which ones do you not use?
Well, I don't use any of them. I literally use the thumbs up, the smiley face with the sunglasses, and the smiley face.
Yeah.
Sometimes I choose not to wear sunglasses. That's my right.
Well done, you. I honestly, Glendon, I wouldn't overthink it. I think there is that's the trouble with social media. Like I say, sometimes it's more trouble than it's worth sometimes, isn't it?
I honestly, I would take it as, try and take it as a positive, Glendon. I know you can get wrapped up in this, and I don't know. You may well be right. There may be people who are thinking, "Oh, that's nice."
I take everything as that's a nice thing, a positive way. I think that you're right. You got to look at it that way. Otherwise, you could drive yourself.
Yeah, I think you could drive yourself crazy with that. Yeah, you could. Okay, let's move on, because Brian wants to talk about Christmas decorations and screen readers, but not together, I hope.
Oh.
I have to mention our Christmas yard decorations.
Oh.
It has been my wife's dream for years, and this year it has finally happened. Standing to one side of this display is the Christmas Triceratops. It has 3 horns, of course, and several Christmas presents on its back. It is about 4 feet tall and is watching the other 2 characters closely. On the ground is the Christmas llama. It also has presents strapped to its back, like it is hauling them somewhere. Unfortunately, the Christmas llama, which should technically be a sheep, has fallen over on its side. It is about 5 feet tall when standing up straight, but it won't stay upright. We believe this is because its knees are weak and cannot hold up its own weight due to primal fear.
What's happening?
This is because the third member in the part is the Christmas T-Rex. This is about 6 feet tall when expanded and is carrying a cute teddy bear. The T-Rex is standing next to the Christmas llama, sheep, and is eyeballing it closely. We don't know if the teddy bear was involved in a felony or not, but it looks like the llama is about to be Christmas dinner. These characters are flat on the ground during the daytime, but at 5 o'clock each night, the timer goes off and the air circulation fans under the characters begin to blow and fill up the air pockets inside. This is what Christmas is like in Jurassic Park, I guess. Oh yeah, the wheelchair ramp has lots of lights that are synchronized to the Christmas music as well. I've been swamped lately, so I haven't had time to write much, but quickly, more discussion of the threshold principle, please. I also have that intense desire to never leave the house despite all the good that comes with it. There is almost always something enjoyable about each venture out, but we forget. Getting to tell people about what you guys do helps them get confidence to leave their own houses too. I'm glad we cannot be so divisive as politics when it comes to screen readers. I personally have now switched to using NVDA 95% of the time and only fire up JAWS for very specific tasks, usually very web page specific. JAWS just can't keep up with my workflow effectively, but I don't use other workflows either, so my preferences are just that. Mine. I think there is more than enough room and validity for both. It wouldn't be good if JAWS was the only option around. I can't be too ungrateful for JAWS, as it has helped me in this new blind life re-establishing a career. Because of my military service, I have access to JAWS and know the difference it makes for myself and makes for so many in our community. Brian.
Thank you, Brian. So first off, we have to go back to the Christmas decorations. It seemed very lavish, to put it mildly.
You say lavish. I say surreal.
I mean, look, I think if Glendon thought he was going mad with his reactions, imagine how we feel listening to that. I have to say, what an image to give us for Christmas, though. The Christmas T-Rex, the Christmas Triceratops.
Tortilla, yes.
Christmas tortilla, and the Christmas llama.
The llama, or it could be a sheep.
Or sheep.
It sounds Fantastic. It's very Christmassy. A traditionalist there, obviously. A T-Rex. That sounds so cool, I've got to say, though. Well done, Brian.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever had like the Christmas decorations where you put them outside?
No, I have. No, I haven't. I haven't done that. We put Christmas lights on the like we've got a Christmas tree as part of the garden anyway, as in, a real Christmas tree. So we do put Christmas lights around that.
Oh, that's nice.
Occasionally, but no, we have
outside your house.
Yeah, it's always there.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a pine tree.
I love the things you never notice when you're blind.
It's glorious.
Your house so many times, never noticed a tree. There you go. It says it all, doesn't it?
Hidden away. That was lovely. Thank you, Brian.
I once went to a car park in the middle of the night.
Okay, that's enough. Let's move on. Next email.
I just love that you've got no idea where this is going. So I literally went to this car park middle of the night to meet a guy in a car park at a train station so that I could pick up secondhand Christmas decorations. And it was like Santa and his sleigh. And it was all like tubed with LED lights, so it was like all the tube light all the way around it.
Stop right there. What are you meeting in the middle of the night in a car park? Is this falling off the back of a sleigh or what?
No, it was second. Like what was it, Gumtree or something at the time? The second hand.
Why in the middle of the night?
Well, it was the only time I could get him.
Okay, all right, carry on.
And he was trying to get money for his family for Christmas, and I thought it was like a Christmas movie.
It was beautiful.
It's one of those Hallmark movies. So
stripy jumper on, eye mask, swag bag. Yeah,
receipt available in the bag. So anyway, I get the stuff and I get it back home and set it up. One of the lights didn't work, so that was a shame. But we put it outside nonetheless. And then we got a storm pass through, and the penguin, we had a stand-up penguin. It was like basically just a flat, thing that stood up. You really should have put like a bag of soil or something on it to hold it down.
Yes,
but we didn't.
A ballast of some description.
A ballast, exactly. Yes. But instead we didn't, and so it ended up in the neighbour's garden and nearly smashed their front window. That was annoying. And then someone stole Santa in his sleigh.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. The world today. I mean, there's no hope. Someone stole Santa.
Or the wind got it. We don't know which. But the thing is, it looks as if Santa did in fact take flight that evening.
Yes.
Let's go from our house. Yeah.
It was a magical moment where Santa actually just flew away in the wind.
Left us.
You've actually got lights in your roof, though, haven't you?
Yeah, so we've got soffit lights. Yeah, so soffit lights around the house, but they're not Christmas lights. They're just regular lights.
Whoa! Let me stop you right there, sir. Aren't they smart lights?
No.
Why not? Oh, that's so disappointing. Do they not know who you are? You should have smart lights in your house.
I do want to get smart lights in there, if for no other reason. I certainly want better ones because it's currently one of them is just flashing repeatedly, and the other ones have died. So it's not. It's more like a. When I put the lights on outside, it's more of an alert going off than really some sort of
Morse code.
Beautiful, homely looking, welcome. It's just lights flashing at you. It's
stop. Question. So these are lights that you say soffit lights. I'm not a builder. I don't know what that is. I don't work in construction. So these are lights on the outside, underside of your roof that shine down on the outside of your house, right?
Yes, that's right.
What was the reason for these? Was this cosmetic or, as I would have done back in my seeing days, so you could find your house?
That was a bit of both, to be perfectly honest.
Genius.
Brilliant for finding the house at night.
Yes.
Although downside is every house now has them around here. So,
That's why you need smart ones. You can say, turn my house green or red.
That's right. Yeah.
So you know which is
Make
yours.
my house flash.
Exactly.
So, that was cool. But yeah, purely cosmetic as well, let's be honest. I mean, it was one of those things that we were getting the roof done and we thought, well, let's just do it while we're there. But yeah, we didn't get smart lights put in, but we absolutely will be next time round. My only fear with that is if something goes wrong with them, because the problem is you need someone with a very large ladder to go up and deal with them.
Yes.
So if something goes wrong, like, I need to reset the Wi-Fi.
Yours have gone wrong already, so it doesn't matter. It's fine.
True. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Although, you know what, actually, the smart thing would be, now I'm thinking about it, you got me thinking about this, the smart thing would be to set them up in the house first. Each one, hook them up Wi-Fi, blah, 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 blah.
Of course you would.
And then, because I'd need about 16 of them.
Right.
So put them all on and then set them up and then put them outside. Get the person to do it.
Yeah.
It's genius.
Okay, let's make that happen for Christmas. It will be a miracle.
It'll
along
be
with the T-Rex.
Miracle.
And the penguin.
Perhaps they're all together somewhere. Who knows? Maybe the llama and the sleigh, and they're all together somewhere. Who knows? Okay, let's move on.
Yeah,
Tracy's
please.
been in touch.
Hi, Stephen, Shaun, and thank you, Laura. I am very interested in the Blindshell 3 as I now have the Meta Ray-Bans and am hotspotting them to my iPhone 11 through my Blindshell 2. Will the MetaView app work on the Blindshell 3? Does it use the Google Play Store? I love the Ray-Bans and was surprised how good the sound is and how normal they feel. Can you please do a demo of the Blindshell? Thanks. Take care, Tracy.
Well, funny you mentioned that, Tracy. Yes, because that is in planning. Now, I was hoping to have that for you this week. We're hoping to have it for you last week as well. But the one thing I've been waiting for is my Capsys phone to return, because I felt, as I mentioned before, I wanted to compare them. That has not materialised.
Oh, is it time to, get the muscle out and get a bit
I'm
heavy?
going to have to get the guys round
Yeah.
to get this back. But anyway, it is, I'm told, going to be with me by the end of the week. So that will give me time to put it together. So we will get the review together, hopefully before the end of the month, and get that out, because I know a lot of you are interested in the Blindshell Classic. And actually on that point about the Meta Ray-Ban app, because look, the Blindshell Classic 3 now has access to third-party apps. Which it already had. In fairness, the Blindshell Classic 2 had a selection of third-party apps, but now it's more broad. The question is, does the MetaView app work with it? Well, we're going to get that answer in the review, so yeah, stay tuned for that.
Exciting. I don't see a reason why it shouldn't, but who knows? Yeah, we'll definitely test that out.
Now, Chris has been in touch following Darren's questions about the Blindshell Classic 3.
Hello, Double Tappers. Prompted to leave this in response to Darren's message. I'm of the view that his best option is going to be to bite the bullet and get the Blindshell 3. My thinking around this is that if he goes for the repair, it's likely that he will, I'm sure, get some good mileage out of the repaired phone, but something else is likely to go wrong. So Darren, if I were you, I would cut my losses. Good luck, and may you make a good decision.
Thank you for that, Chris. Yeah, I think that is good advice. I mean, look, if you've got the money and you can afford to do the upgrade, that's fine. It's also worth noting that Blindshell are not offering an upgrade path necessarily from the 2 to the 3.
What?
We did mention this at the time when we did the interview with Blindshell, because I did ask that question: will there be an upgrade path for some kind of discount? But there doesn't seem to be at the moment. Now you can have your view on that, but the Blindshell Classic 2 has been out for a number of years. Would you expect that? Well, I don't know. I mean, there's trade-in options with other devices, right? So I guess if you were able to trade in, that would be fine. That's the one thing with specialist tech, right? You don't often have that option of
You'd have
trading
to sell
in.
it privately and to try and get some money back towards your upgrade, I suppose. But yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's always nice when you've got that option, though. But yeah.
Well, especially on a device that you probably would likely want to buy, and you're going to want the upgrade too, because it is an upgrade, right? I mean, it's a new device.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Okay.
Thank you for that, Chris. Appreciate that. Nicole has been in touch and wants to talk to us about the mini guide. I had asked people to get in touch if you had used the mini guide we'd been talking about with Tim Dixon when he was at Site Village and he was testing it out. And I've had a lot of talk about the mini guide, but
yes,
I don't think we've heard from many people using it. Well, Nicole does use it.
Hey, Double Tappers, Nicole here, just coming in to respond to Pete's message about Miniguide and WeWalk Cane. I'm a complete Miniguide fan. I've used one for the last, 18 years, I think? I've had one for 18 years, but yeah, it tends to come out when I use my cane, definitely. And now that I'm back using that full time while waiting for a dog, I'm using it every single day. And it's just one of the best things ever. The way that I use the mini guide though is in my my free hand. So this is not hands-free, but it allows me to have a lot of control over the information I'm picking up And so I will, just like you arc your cane from side to side, I will also kind of scan the mini guide from side to side so I can get a sense of, yes, what's ahead of me, and what's kind of overhanging branches or at waist height, like, a vehicle or something. But I can also tell what's out to the sides. So whether I need to, like, yes, you find a vehicle in front of you, I can straight away like scan the mini guide right to left to find maybe a gap between say the fence and the vehicle. Or, okay, do I need to go out onto the road? I can easily find the way through, or more easily find the way through by holding it in my hand and scanning that way. Also, it's really good for detecting, like following a shoreline without having to touch it. So maybe a fence line or something, doing that without having to hit it with your cane and make loads of noise. And also finding gaps. So it might be like a gap in the fence or an open door, something like that. You can just point the mini guide out to the side and it will pick that gap up straight away. It also does have a wide range of settings, and you can program 3 sort of quick settings, but it can go anything from 0.5 meter to 8 meters. And that's something you can change fairly easily. And the other thing is, I use it successfully in the rain. I will just put a snap lock bag over it, just one of those tiny snack ones. Just cover it with that, and it seems to work fine. It does have a wrist strap, so I just pop that around my wrist, and if I do need to let go of it for whatever reason, then I can just let it dangle down and then pick it up, and off I go again. So yeah, absolutely love the mini guide, would never be without it. And I'm even thinking of buying a second one just to have a backup, just in case, because this one is quite a number of years old now. I will say though, it does take a bit of time to get acquainted with, or any new mobility aid really, just like integrating that into your travel and being able to focus on what it's telling you, and as well as like using a cane. But yeah, the mini guide is just excellent. So yeah, loving the show, by the way. There's so much more I could say, but I think I will leave it there. And yeah, take care everyone, and speak soon.
Thanks, Nicole. Appreciate the words, and it's so interesting to hear from someone who actually uses it.
For 18 years.
Yeah.
I've heard similar stories from other people as well. It just seems like I really must get my hands on this device. It's been around for so long and I never even used one. Talking about, being able to shoreline without actually making contact. I'm thinking of that hotel corridor that I was walking down, knocking on everyone's door with my cane as I'm shorelining down it.
It's a great point, actually. Yeah, just knowing where you are without, like you say, having to tap on every door as you go, as we do.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's been around so long that you almost think, is there any point buying it? It's probably out of date and old, but it's not the case with this.
But if it works,
exactly right. It's like I always think about Greg in Pennsylvania used to tell us about a device called the ID Mate.
Yes,
which was the barcode scanner, I think it was. And it had a huge amount of data in it that allowed you to pretty much scan anything, and it would tell you exactly what it was, and it was brilliant. And again, now sadly that did go by the by.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because these devices are brilliant. They're so good. Again, it goes back to that point a lot of people make about specialist devices that, if it does the job well, like I think no matter how many times you try a color detector app, you're never going to get as good an app as the one that, is
That's
actually
the
a device.
Yeah. No, it's true. And, we could have a whole other conversation about color identifiers. I think they're all terrible, but the apps especially.
Well, the problem is, it's not so much that, for me, the color identifier arguably is useful, but I don't know if it's right or wrong.
No,
not you either. I mean, okay, I know you wouldn't either, but I'm colorblind.
You're colorblind on top of blindness.
So it's like, even if I could see the color, I wouldn't be absolutely sure it is that color,
Yeah, but that's exactly the point of a color identifier. So you can rely on it, but I just find them so inconsistent. And of course, a lot of it is to do with the lighting and things. That's why using a smartphone camera, using an app to try and do it, just isn't reliable whatsoever. But, the hardware devices where they can control, you hold it up to and press it against something to get the color. There is more control, but I still find them quite unreliable.
It's often covered, isn't it? So it's a little, essentially when you push the device towards, so say it's a piece of fabric.
Yes.
When you hold it over the piece of fabric, it's kind of covering the whole thing. So it's shutting out all the external light.
Yeah, and using its own light in there to light it up. Yeah.
And that is arguably going to give you a better response because the camera is doing it based on the lighting.
Your point, Stephen Scott. Yes, I was just saying color identifiers are a bit of a sore spot for me. I just think they're quite expensive, some of them, and I just... Anyway, AI can help with that.
And also, who cares?
Fair enough. The mini guide. It's great.
Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate that. Let's move on to Ryan, who wants to talk to us about getting accessibility or accessibility information for programs on Apple TV.
Hello, folks. I'm sorry, but I'm phoning with another whinge. I mean, me? Whinge? Oh. When do I ever do that?
No.
I'm phoning, basically... Now that we've moved to buying, it's been a wee while now that we've been doing this, but now that we've moved to buying films and TV shows from Apple TV, why is it that the part that tells you what accessibility is available, i.e. audio description, subtitles, is right at the bottom? You can't find out if it's got audio description without going right to the bottom of the screen. Now, I'm a bit slow at doing that. There might be a quick way of doing it, probably, for all I know. And yeah, you'll be able to tell me in a flash. One of you two, I should imagine, because yeah, Apple fans as you both are. But yeah, if you could just advise me on that, please, I'd be very much grateful to you. Take care and keep on the old double tapping because it's cracking. Bye.
Thank you, Ryan. We'll keep double tapping.
It's cracking. I like that.
That should have been our Easter campaign. There you go. We could have kept that for then.
Now, I think you're more likely to buy something off the what used to be called the iTunes store. I don't know if it still is. If you're buying TV and movies, for example, I don't do that. I'm always streaming everything. I very rarely buy any media. But I know what you mean. It's finding that has audio description along with usually, Dolby 5.1, 4K or HD, that sort of information. It's finding that information quickly.
That's right. It's always at the end of the list. So you'll have that list of information and it will say things like, 5.1 or 4K
subtitles
or
as well.
UHD or whatever it says. And then you're right. It'll say captions or subtitles, and then it will say audio description. There's no simple way to quickly get that information. However, in the Apple TV app, so when you go into the TV app, it's a bit confusing, I think, if I'm honest now, because what they've done is they've taken away the separate iTunes. Now it's all part of the one. So Apple TV has a store app in it. So on a tab, so you go to the store tab, you double tap on that. You have to then basically go right to the bottom. I think it's like the second or third last category, where it's like more to explore or something like that, if I remember rightly. And you go in there, and in there you will see an option to list all the films with audio description. But it's kind of hidden out the way. It's like Christmas movies and, films for 99 cents, movies with audio description. And it's like,
I know exactly what you
put that somewhere near, like even just put it the last thing on the list so at least we can quickly jump to it.
I remember looking through to find that very thing, and you're absolutely right. It's almost like it is a category on its own, but it just feels out of place where it is. I know exactly what you mean. I was saying there is a quick way to jump to either the last item on the screen or the first item on the screen if we're talking about on your iPhone, for example, which may help if you're trying to get to the last, if there's some information towards the bottom.
Well, it's not the last item on the screen though. It's kind of the last item on the list of 4K, UHD, and all the rest. Yeah, after that is usually follows a description and then other information about the show. The audio description's not right at the very bottom. Actually, do you know, maybe you're right, because there is a section at the bottom of the... No, you're right, actually. There is something at the bottom. But I'm never entirely sure if that's referring to... I was never sure if that referred to the AD was in the program or just, this was something that was available.
Well, you know what, then? I mean, it's too confusing. It shouldn't be that hard. Firstly, that category to just show me media, which is audio described, should be more prominent. And it should also be more filterable. Is that a word? As in,
Well, I mean, look at Netflix.
Show me
right?
movies, show me
Netflix
TV
do it.
shows.
The
Yeah.
way Netflix do it is perfect, right? You've got it in the category
Well,
list.
hang on.
Okay, but it's better than anything else. Let's be honest about it. I mean,
Yeah.
what else is doing it that way? So you have it as a category. Now, I know there's people who get annoyed at that as well, because, you know, if you think about it, it just basically takes every show that's there, puts it in a list and says, here you go, here's all our shows.
Here's 10,000 shows to plow through. That's
And the
what I'm
problem
saying.
is, how do you know what you... But Netflix do, once you go into category, you can choose between like thrillers, action, you know, there's other options in there. And the same applies in that view, incidentally, that view that you go into on Apple TV. Once you choose the movies with audio description, it does actually lay it out so you can see thrillers, action movies, comedies. You can actually go by heading and just
that's
kind of work
cool.
your way through. So
I
it is
take it back.
possible to do that. But the problem is it all just feels a bit hidden. And, you know, you go to something like Prime Video, goodness me, what a mess. I mean, you know, we sat with the people from Prime Video and said, why don't you just have a category that says audio description? And they're just kind of like chin stroking, well, that seems like an idea. You know, we could do that. But what we've done instead is we've put audio description as a little bug, you know, it's written there so you can go to it. I think I remember way back at the beginning when they actually brought in that AD bug, that little logo that sits there telling you the audio description. It wasn't labeled, which was
Wasn't even
hilarious.
accessible. I'm sorry, the Prime Video app on the iPhone is just
dreadful.
Dreadful, impossible to use virtually. I've just given up. Don't even go there anymore. It
might
terrible.
look nice visually, and this is the thing, right? Visually, it might be lovely, but it's no use to us.
Yeah.
And it has to be accessible in every way. Now, it can look as nice as it wants. It can be as flashy as you like, but that's not an excuse not to make it accessible. And, you know, what we mean by accessible is being easy to navigate. But I think going one step further than that, actually being able to surface results that we're looking for. So to say, for example, in a search, you know, search for this movie, you know, but only search, you know, just have it as like an accessibility thing. Only show me movies with audio description, or show me TV shows with audio description.
Yeah.
Don't just show me everything, because there's no point. I know why they do that, because obviously they want to give people choice. But if I am watching film, and this is just me, but I don't think we're alone here. If those of us who watch film with audio description generally will only want that film with audio description.
Yeah.
But it's such a hard thing to find. You know, I've ranted about it often enough. It is trying to find it. It is a nightmare. And it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. And it seems that it's kind of funny that we're the ones rooting around trying to find this stuff. When really, you know, that should be the stuff that surfaces most easily for us.
Yeah.
This is where AI could be useful. I mean, I'd love just to say to OpenAI, you know, is this film on Netflix and does it have audio description? And it just comes back and says, yes, here's a link, watch it. You know, that would be really cool. This is where AI could be really useful.
Well, not even AI. I mean, how often have we seen in keynote presentations, you know, hey, give me films starring whoever, I don't know, whoever it may be, right? And
Liam Neeson or, whatever.
yeah, exactly. And it will go off, and, oh, yeah, here's it, and show me films from the 1980s. Well, does that work with show me audio described content only and something? It just seems to be one of those things, again, audio description gets forgotten about.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, one more. I think we've got time for one more. This is from John Dyer, from a contributor to the Blind Android Users podcast. He's been back in touch with us with some comments following our thoughts and our listener Yusuf's thoughts on the Pixel Watch 3.
Hello, Shaun and Stephen. This is John Dyer. I just wanted to say that I started listening to your show when you had me on a little while ago, and believe it or not, I am still listening.
Wow.
So I'm enjoying it, and keep up the good work. I also wanted to comment on a couple of things in a recent episode of yours. The first being the Pixel Watch discussion. One of your listeners, Yusuf, sent in a review, and I noticed you and Shaun, or Stephen and Shaun, both of you are, and Shaun more than Stephen, I guess, is reluctant to talk bad about Android since, you know, you guys aren't using it day to day. And I can appreciate that, because I'm the same way with iOS, since I don't really use it that much in Apple products in general. I try not to jump to conclusions or form opinions, but I will say I am an Android user. I love Android, and the Pixel Watch is absolute garbage. And I'll be clear what I mean. It's not this Pixel Watch specifically. I think all Android Wear or Wear OS watches suffer from this. It's, and you asked if it's a hardware thing or a software thing. And my answer is it's a software thing. It's TalkBack. I think TalkBack is the problem. It's just slow. It's too resource intensive, and it doesn't run well on watches. So just to be clear, I'm not saying it's not accessible. It is accessible and you can use it, but for me personally, and people will disagree with me, but for me personally, it's too slow and unresponsive for me to use. You know, if I'm wearing a watch and it's faster to pull my phone out of my pocket and just do whatever I want to do on the phone instead of on the watch, because I don't want to deal with how slow the watch is, like, then why do I have a watch? You know, so that's kind of my opinion on it. And the other thing I wanted to comment on was the direct touch typing. Stephen, I do believe you. I do believe that you can do it. I cannot do it. I would make a mess trying to do that. So I'm with Shaun in that it's hard to believe, but I do believe you because, you know, being a part of the Blind Android Users podcast and a part of that community, we get a lot of new Android users coming over from iOS. And believe it or not, the question that gets asked a lot is, how do I enable direct touch typing in Android? And unfortunately, we have to say that's not a feature in TalkBack. So a lot of people use this. I don't get it. I can't do it. But a lot of people use this method of typing, and a lot of people depend on it, and they're very disappointed when they come over to Android and it's not an option. It's probably the most requested feature for TalkBack.
What?
Recently, so hopefully it will get added at some point, but at this point in time, it does not have direct touch typing. Again, I enjoyed the podcast. Keep it up.
Thank you, John. Look, first comment about the Pixel Watch. I mean, look, I tend to take what you're saying even more. Not what I mean by that is by me. I mean, you know, my view on it is you know, not using it every day, and I am a little bit hesitant to be too harsh on it, but I can only tell you my experience, which is that it's not a great experience.
Yeah.
You've clearly taken that to the next level there, John. Absolute garbage.
Yeah, but John's using these things. He's got more experience. He's living in. I mean, as he said, I am a little bit reluctant because I'm just not using it. So I can't say, oh, it's absolutely terrible. But the thing to take away from that, though, is if in John's experience, if it is software based, then there is a possibility, as slight as it may be, that it could be fixed.
Yes, that's true. And look, I mean, I certainly hope it will be. I mean, we're at third generation. It feels like, you know, we should be further forward.
Yes.
But again, I mean, he thinks it's, you know, look,
at the same time, you know,
who knows what the issue is, you know?
Look, these are marked as accessibility. If anyone was just looking at these for someone else, for a family member or whatever, you know, who's visually impaired, who's blind, oh, this has got accessibility in it. This has got talkback. It's got screen reader. At the end of the day, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I don't think we can be afraid to say that. I mean, it seems to be that this just doesn't work.
And as for direct touch typing, yeah, I know it is hard to believe. I can type on a screen with a...
He can.
I can do it, but here's the thing: I have to be looking at the screen, even though it's off. I don't understand.
No, that makes no sense.
But I understand why it's a popular feature, and I understand why a lot of people will like that feature. Well, look, it's just speeding up typing. It doesn't work. How are you typing on your phone then? How do you do it?
What are you talking about? How does everyone do it? You move your finger around and then you tap with your other finger. I use split tapping technique.
You say it like that's the only way to type on an iPhone.
Yes, it is. Yes. How are you typing if you can't see the letters on the keyboard?
If I'm typing a password,
yes,
something that's really specific, then absolutely I'll use that feature.
Yes.
I'll do exactly that. But if I'm hammering out a text, I'm just typing on the screen.
You are not typing on the screen. That is impossible. You're not touch typing on a screen.
I didn't see any of it was legible. And am I leaning heavily on spell check? Absolutely. But I will say, It's
Yes.
not bad at getting it right.
No way. This is like
Oh, it was
Flexi or whatever it was. The
No.
predictive
I'm just
keyboard.
literally typing with my thumbs on the screen. That's all I'm doing.
Well, I say misspent youth. Maybe this is the playground of the young, because I
years
can't
of
do it.
using BlackBerry. That's what's done it. Years, and I think that's probably what it is. I got almost used to typing so well on a BlackBerry without really looking at it, because I wasn't looking at the keys even on a BlackBerry.
Okay. Next time, I want you to type live.
Okay,
on the
I
show.
will do it. I'll do it here, and I'll record it on the Meta Ray-Ban frame, so it's proven.
I don't want any AI
Bring in an
trickery.
adjudicator. We'll get Mr. F in. He can be the adjudicator and decide if I'm telling the truth or not.
Okay, that's very impressive.
We'll do that. On
Thanks,
the next
John.
exciting episode. I can't remember what was supposed to be on this exciting episode.
Breaking news,
yesterday.
I can't remember.
Can't remember either. Listen, we're almost out of time. That is it for today, though. Thank you, as always, for getting in touch. Feedback at doubletaponair.com is our email address. You can also call us on our phone number, and you can also WhatsApp us on our number as well. I remember them all. I just, I actually, I think it's more important to remind people that if you go to doubletaponair.com/contact, it will provide you with the phone number and the WhatsApp number and the email address, meaning that I don't have to remember it.
Remember. Yeah, well done. doubletaponair.com/contact.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go.
Oh, I think it's time for a coffee.
I think it is. I'm off to play more with my Mantis. Loving it. Remember, go get your updates. Go get your software update. Go check it out. HumanWare, of course, for the firmware update. You can get it there or via your device, and let us know what you think of it. And we'll catch you again for another Double Tap tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.